Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on New Central Television. And at this time, we are talking about the wave of insecurity in some parts, or pocket of insecurity in some parts of the country. I still have, of course, with me, my guest, and just joining the panel right now is Adeola Onikoyi, is the Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Lagos State. But let me go to my virtual guest. Diran Odeyemi, former National Deputy Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. Quickly, what's your take on what we are seeing in terms of resurgence and pockets of, will I call it, security issues in some parts of the country? Is there a political perspective to this?
I think it's a sad development for democracy and Nigerians. Sad development in the sense that we have to ask ourselves this question. What is the attraction in APC, in the present administration, that will now warrant the whole state apparatus to say, yes, we want to join the APC? The purpose of joining these political parties, we have to ask again, is it for selfish purposes or in the interest of the masses that voted them in? Are we tending towards one political party in this country, or we are trying to say that wherever there are issues in politics or in political parties, there are no internal mechanism through which it could be resolved and maintain the status quo as a member of the party? These are the sad developments that perhaps we should look at and change the narrative, and possibly not join the euphoria of people saying, yes, PDP is losing, APC is gaining. Even like that, 2027 is still a long time. And in politics, 24 hours is a long time. Anything can still happen. The PDP you see today that is having crisis is not going to die. It is a brand that will continue to exist in the political firmament of Nigeria. We have people who left PDP, even the likes of Atiku, the likes of Tambuwa, the likes of Bukola Saraki, they have been to APC. Where are they today? They are back in PDP. So what is happening now is not new, but it's a sad development for our politics and democracy in Nigeria. All right, that is my take on it.
All right, Mr. Odeyemi, since you've decided to talk on defection, maybe we should just dovetail into that. We know that recently there's a wave of defection, to the All Progressives Congress from other parties, with several key figures, from the opposition joining the ruling party. Now, this trend, of course, has started raising concerns amongst opposition leaders who accuse the APC-led federal government of using state power and resources to lure defectors. Now, maybe I should bring the question to the studio. Mr. Jumbo, Bestman, we are seeing defections happen in droves to the All Progressives Congress. Or maybe I should leave you for a moment and go to Chibuzo, because I hear he is really itching to answer. Chibuzo, we are seeing defections happen. Was it yesterday, the governor of Delta State left the PDP and moved to the APC. And for some, they'll say, what's happening to the South-South? What's your take on what we are seeing, Chibuzo?
Well, I think that first, thank you for having me, and my greetings to all the panel members. This is just a normal political process. There's nothing new per se that is happening. Constitutionally speaking, it's within the democratic right of every Nigerian, in line with Section 40 of the Constitution, even Section 15 of our Constitution in terms of political objectives and directive principles of state policy in Nigeria. So it's within their political rights to move from one party to another or associate themselves with any political group they desire. or maybe morally and in terms of implication to our political development and democratic consolidation, they will begin to ask questions as to integrity and credibility of the individuals and why being in one party as a serving governor or members of a legislature, you defect to another party. That is maybe the aberration within this particular system. However, I remember in the 4th Assembly, 1999, in the National Assembly, PDP had the position of majority leader, position of minority leader, even Public Account Committee chairman, public petition chairman that are reserved for opposition members. But because they were in the majority, at both majority and the minority, so they occupy those positions. So for me, it's within the rights of the governors to make that decision. I don't think if the PDP is ready to bring their party back to life, that will affect them so much. All these things you see is about leadership preparedness, political, sagacity. People need to understand the way the politics of Nigeria works.
But do you think,
almost all the politicians in power, the most
quickly.
important factor to them is re-election. They want to survive. So they are looking for, they're like fishes outside the water, looking for where to survive. That is what you could see.
So what you are saying right now, what you are saying is that for many politicians, it's all about survival. And it has maybe basically nothing to do with maybe loyalty to the party they are going to, or even the interest of the people. Is that what you're saying?
No, it has nothing to do with the interest of the people, loyalty to any party they are going to. In fact, when you hear some of the underlying reasons, you'll be surprised. So, but let's leave that because it's in the secret for them. But you have to know the political configuration of Nigeria is anchored on winner takes it all. And there is so much resources and concentration of power at the center. So you hear them make public statements like, oh, we want to connect to the center so that we can attract more opportunities and development for our people. That statement on its own tells you maybe the ruling party have been violating Chapter 2 of the Constitution. Because if there is equity and social justice in the distribution of resources as prescribed by the Constitution, somebody will not tell you he needs to connect to the center to be able to attract development to his state or to his people. So that is the challenge we face. We have a political structure that is embedded with winner takes it all, characterization. And that is why when people are not connected to the mainstream, they face challenges and shortcomings in many developmental efforts. And you heard them say it.
Chibuzo, your point is well taken. I'll come back to you, Chibuzo, but let me bring it to the studio quickly before we go on a break. And let me ask Bestman. Bestman, looking at all of this defection, is it a win for the APC, or is the APC getting something right here?
Except we just want to deceive ourselves. When you have governors by Nigerian political configuration leave their party to decamp to another party, it is a gain for the party that they defected to.
Why is
in this regard?
Because some say maybe it's some sort of state capture, intimidation of people.
Well, to the politicians, they will always nationalize even evil to give you legitimacy. That's what I've noticed about them. Because I remember when at a point the PDP was in power and virtually everybody was captured by PDP except one state for the AD, which was Lagos, under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It was a thing of joy to them. Like I keep saying, the institutions you failed to strengthen when you were there will work against you when you leave.
So that's what we are seeing happening.
So it is a gain to the APC, whether anybody likes it or not. In the political calculation, it is a gain to the APC. It's also now left for the APC to manage the influx of these big men to avoid inflation.
Okay. At this point, we'll go on a quick break. And when we return, I'll be taking Adeola Onikoyi, who is the Publicity Secretary for Labour Party in Lagos State. I'll take your opinion on this because some of your party members, too, are part of those defected. So we'll speak on that. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and we're looking at the wave of defection across political parties and permutation and computation ahead of 2027 election. Well, let me come straight to you, Adeola. You are the Publicity Secretary of Labour Party, Lagos State. Members of your party are also defecting to the ruling party. As an opposition, are you worried?
No, we're not. Simply because it's expected, right? It's political season. It's political transfer season. We'll call it that, right?
Political transfer season.
Yeah, it's
just like football.
Just like football. You know, it's political transfer season right now. So we have open bids, closed bids, negotiations going on, and so people are defecting.
Will some go on loan?
Some are going on loan. You know that. You know that. Some will go on loan and then do what they have to do and then go back to their party, right? And so we're seeing those tactics, but we're not surprised. We're not perturbed, right? We're not disturbed because, as the previous guest said, 2027 is a long time away, right? And so some of these people you have seen go will come back. Definitely.
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 So confident.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I should go bring Mr. Diran into this conversation. Mr. Diran, your party, the People's Democratic Party, has suffered, a major blow with some key notable members defecting. Is the umbrella still together?
I can answer the question in 2 dimensions. One, the umbrella is still intact. PDP is a brand, is a party that will not die. APC went through this crisis at a point in time, and they designed a strategy whereby they aligned themselves with other political parties to form one single political party to fight PDP. And who is saying that we cannot do the same in PDP and come back to reckoning? That is one. Then number 2, recently you heard the governors making a categorical statement that they will appreciate if other political parties come to join them, not that they will be consumed by other small political parties. This is a strong word, and they stated clearly that the former presidential candidate Abubakar is not representing the party because the way he has been going about it is for his own personal decision to become the president of Nigeria, which is at variance with the situation PDP is. If you put all these things together, you will agree with me that there is still hope. PDP will still come back to reckoning. So the umbrella is still there, ready to accommodate all the people that has issues. PDP, in Labour, everywhere. And we will all come back together to form a coalition and to ensure that we rescue this 2027 in the interest of Nigerians.
All right.
And about political parties.
Okay, so it's safe to say, sir,
who are not protected, whose property are not protected, who are hungry, who are happy.
So it's safe to say, because we're really pressed for time, sir. So it's safe to say that maybe what is happening to the umbrella is that it's just leaking. It's still together, it's just leaking at the moment, and definitely things would come together and it will be able to forge ahead of 2027. But I think I would also like to ask a major question, and I would appreciate if you can answer in 30 seconds. There's also the notion, in political quarters that maybe, just maybe, it's alleged that the ruling party might plant nose in some opposition party to destabilize it. We have seen cases where, this, will I call it notion, maybe might just stick. But do you think that is the case also with the PDP? Do you think there are moles within your party planted just to destabilize it and then leave?
Everything works in politics. And whatever is right is a strategy. It's right for APC today because they are gaining more of PDP members into their fold. People who are running to them are doing that for personal reasons, for survival, to evade justice or EFCC, EFCC arrest or whatever. But there is an expiring date to every political issue. What we are seeing today will soon come to pass.
All right, Mr. Diran, thank you so much. Let me bring it back to the studio and throw it to you, Bestman. Now, Bestman, I mean, looking at what we are seeing right now with the wave of defection, I'm still going to stick with my question that I asked him, but on the reverse this time. The, well, I call it political notion, according to some political analysts, that maybe moles are planted within the opposition to destabilize them. Hence, you have the internal crisis, and then once their job is done, they switch. But don't you also think that might be the case with this defection, where we are seeing it happening in droves? People coming into the ruling party, maybe just to destabilize it, and then go back home.
Those are the lone players.
Well,
The lone players.
But you see, you know, let's be realistic. Let's stop this idea of brick parting and deceiving ourselves. If there's any mole in the PDP, that if we're going to use that word, a mole, for whoever is destabilizing PDP, then it's a large article. Because PDP wouldn't have gone through what they're going through now. If after the 8 years of Buhari, with our arrangement that we have for north-south power sharing or power shift, Atiku had said, okay, let's back a $1,000 from PDP. It wouldn't have been like this. So why people are so afraid to say it the way it is, even within the PDP, it shows they are still not ready to save the party. Because the strength that Wike gathered was just from the fact that Atiku wanted the North to continue another 8 years after Buhari. I mean, the other regions are no slaves. So that is that. Now, anything is possible in politics. But you see, to a large extent, for the benefit, if we look at the benefit of hindsight and our political calculation over the years, a party led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be tough to have moves coming to destabilize them.
You think so?
I think so.
It will be tough to have moves coming.
I said I think so. I never said that's
impossible.
The canonical fact, but I think so. Because the Bola Ahmed Tinubu have shown over the years, he might not be, he's not a perfect human being. He's got his fault as a human being, but give it to him. His political efficacy is second to none in this country.
All right, let me bring in Chibuzo to respond to this question. The same question, having moles in political parties sent to destabilize. Do you think this party is doing enough vetting to ensure that the members are loyal? And where does even political ideology or party ideology stand in all of this? Chibuzo, 30 seconds.
Well, I think that is the foundational issue, the issue of ideology, the issue of building within a philosophical underpinning that shape policy and what parties want to achieve, you know, as political party. And you must know also this idea of sending moles or whatever you call it, could be a political strategy, right? The political strategies are allowed in contestation for power. What is necessary is that it must be played within the rules, within the framework of rule of law, constitutionalism. But whether parties should play their cards and see how they're able to upstage other parties in order to gain grants is allowed in political contestation. Remember, the president himself didn't get a reasonable vote in southern Nigeria, both especially southeast and south. The Labour Party candidates almost swept everything, including the state of the former vice presidential candidate of the PDP. The Labour Party won 55% or more in the presidential election, even with the sitting governor and a vice presidential candidate. So most times these politicians make their calculations and permutations, leaving the people out, because they believe the people are defeated foes with multidimensional poverty and the social inequality. However, the people of Nigeria, are rising, believing that participation in politics is very central. And I agree completely that we need political parties with ideology. Because you see, parties are the ones who control policy and drive governance. So if they are not disciplined, if they are not rooted in ideological basis, in terms of development, in terms of social justice, in terms of women empowerment, youth development, and infrastructure, and all aspects of development, it becomes difficult to translate those manifestos into policy that become governance outcomes for the people. And that is the big challenge we face in Nigeria. And somebody pointed it out that today in Nigeria, we no longer have party manifestos. What we have are individual manifestos. So we're individualizing when we're supposed to be institutionalizing and consolidating our democracy. And this needs to change. And the way for it to change is massive participation of people, high-level political literacy. So people can know they are not different from government. That one government policy can end your beautiful business and prospering business. And therefore, you need to make sure you are part of those who elect people that govern you, so that you're able to contribute your voice. We must get to the point in our democracy where the people is able to hire and fire politicians based on development outcomes and governance, and not what we're experiencing today.
All right, thank you so much. Let me bring it to the Labour Party right now, the Labour Party Publicity Secretary for Lagos State. Your party, became the third kid on the block. We saw how it garnered a lot of support in the last election. In Lagos State, for instance, it wowed even the residents and Nigerians with, of course, the sweeping votes it had in the elections. But right now, many are asking how united the Labour Party is with the factionalization, supposed factionalization, and what we are seeing, the internal politics happening. We've seen strong, notable Nigerians, a voice in support of Labour Party, even in 2023. I know that you even have an event for Pa Adebanjo on Sunday, a night of tribute. What is happening within the Labour Party?
Right. So, first of all, to say there are no factions in Labour Party in Lagos State. We are one. Right. We're led by our able chairman, Pastor Dr. Mrs. Adeola Onikoyi. That is our chairman, that is our leader. Right. On the national level, our national chairman is Barrister Julius Abure, right, and that is settled. The party is united, although you would see within the party, you would see elements that are trying to destabilize the party, right? You would see that, and the truth is that right now there are reconciliations going on, right? Reconciliations are going on within the party, both on the national level and at the state level. But to tie back to what you said about Pa Adebanjo and the Night of Tributes, the Labour Party will be holding a Night of Tributes for Pa Adebanjo on Sunday, this Sunday, at his residence, 8 Ayo Adebanjo Close by 4 p.m. What we want to do as a party is we want to pay our last respects to this man, because Pa Adebanjo was, it is indescribable to be able to start talking about him right now in terms of what he did for the party at the national level and at the state level. You mentioned the votes we got in Lagos State. Pa Adebanjo was a major factor in that. No one could believe that Labour Party with Peter Obi could win Lagos State from a president, from a Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu then. But we did, and that was all thanks to the efforts of Afenifere that Pa Adebanjo pulled into our structures to help us right now. So as I said, the party is united, we're moving forward, and this Sunday we'll be holding a Night of Tributes for Pa Adebanjo.
But let me also ask, yes. You said that there are reconciliations going on and all
at
of
the national level.
There was a Supreme Court ruling as regards the leadership.
Yes.
Why do we have variance in terms of interpretations of that ruling within the party?
Within the party. Well, first of all, as a lawyer, I can tell you that if you ask any lawyer on any judgment, you would get 10 different opinions, right? And that's just the way it is. But the official position of the party right now is that our chairman is Barrister Julius Abure. And that is our interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment.
All right. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely dig a bit deeper into these issues. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and we are discussing defections and permutation ahead of 2027 election in the country. Chibuzo Okereke, I'd like to, of course, bring you into this conversation. I understand that you would like to respond to some of the things that Adeola Onikoyi has said, you know, as an obedient, if I'm correct, and your final thoughts generally on this issue. 30 seconds.
My brother Adekoya, I believe, he said he's a lawyer, but maybe the Interpretation Act and rules of interpretation was not part of the law courses he took at the law school. I wouldn't know. But I'm worried about some of his submissions. The Supreme Court of the land, he is a solicitor to the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the Supreme Court of Nigeria had given a judgment on the 4th of April, allowing the appeal made by distinguished Senator Nenadi Usman and Senator Darlington, who are the authentic national leaders of the Labour Party today. When the Supreme Court allows that particular appeal, which means they have granted relief to their prayers. And what are their prayers? That the Julius Agbere-led the NWC tenure had elapsed and is staying there, illegally. How can a lawyer say that when a judgment is given, you get 10 different interpretations? That is unbelievable. Nigeria is a country governed by law and the Constitution, and we have interpretation acts and we have rules of interpretation. As it is today, maybe that is why you have mentioned him as Publicity Secretary for many times, so that he can sink into the media. Every leadership that is appointed by Barrister Abure in Lagos State is illegal, as he knows. So he's even functioning illegally. And from what I know, the leadership of the party is working hard to ensure that they are democratically elected officers of the party, in line with Section 13 of the party's constitution and Section 223 of the Nigerian Constitution. So we can't, and this is my worry. We want to do politics, fine, but as young people, we must be governed by rule of law, sincerity of purpose, and honesty. That is the only way we can even deal with this insecurity you are talking about.
Chibuzo, please, we are really pressed for time.
Development in our country.
We are really pressed for time. Just let me give Adeola just a few seconds a right to respond.
On the nationality. No.
Chibuzo, thank you so much. Your point has been taken. But Adeola, 30 seconds, your right to respond.
Right. So as I previously said, as I previously mentioned, our national chairman is Barrister Julius Abure. That is the interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment that we have. Talking about obedience and the party structure, we can see right now part of the things I mentioned as to how the party is doing its reconciliations on the ground, right? We have a situation in the party where the obedience have decided not to follow the party structure, right? And so the national chairman has said that we all have to come together, because at the end of the day, Peter Obi, the Labour Party, we're all married as one, and we would move forward as one. But moving forward, as I said, the reconciliations are going on, and you'll be getting reports on that pretty soon. And in a couple of weeks, you would see some things that would surprise you.
All right, let me just take our final thoughts. Diran Odeyemi, on this matter.
Yes, I just believe that we should not allow APC and the federal government to drag Nigerians into one political party. It will be against the tenet of democracy all over the world, and it's not going to be a good development for Nigeria. The opposition party should be allowed, irrespective of any strategy the NPC might want to deploy to ensure that they win 2027 election. Nigeria should brace up and ensure that they take their destiny in their hands in the next election. That's my parting word.
All right, Bestman.
Well, at the risk of playing politics with who's a politician, does it mean that when Nigerians take their destiny in their hands, it's only when they vote for your party? So voting for APC will mean they are not taking their destiny in their hands. If every politician behaves like Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who is the governor in Lagos, and nobody, there's no persecution of anybody. Everybody is playing their politics. You do well, the people will follow you. Right now, so far, when the PDP decimated every other party and left AD with only one state, we weren't being left with one party state then. How come it is now that the same karma is coming to PDP, that they're now shouting one party state? Nigerians are wiser. They're not listening to politicians, they are listening to men with reasons and those who have plans for them.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure having you on the program this evening. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope to have you again. It's been a pleasure. Also, many thanks to you at home who, of course, stayed with us from the start of the program till now. Deeply appreciate. Thank you so much. You can actually catch up in case you missed out on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us across social media. The handle is there on your screen. We are live on GoTV also now, channel 23. So you can, look us up there, and you can choose to follow me personally at Dakbo, at Digbuyi. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.